Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to This Week in the Charles Johnson Summer League podcast. I'm your host, Antonio Aponte. Before we get into today's video with Coach Donovan Cox from the Bahamas and player Michael Bell from the Cobras, we wanted to take a moment to talk about this year's regular season standings. Finishing in first place, the South Florida Beach Bums hosted a record of 16-6, putting them 3.5 games up on the Cobras. The Fort Lauderdale Cobras finished 12-9 this season, putting them in second place. And in third, the Bahamas, they went 12-11 this year, 4 games back behind the Bums. In fourth, the Sebastian Makos, the team from the Treasure Coast, won 11-13 this year, putting them 6 games back behind the behind the Bums. And in fifth, the Pompano Beach Tide finished their season 10-13. The Tide were 6.5 games back behind the Bums. Behind the Tide are the Panthers. They went 9-12, also putting them 6.5 games back. The Pompano Beach Tide had one extra regular season win, putting them in 5th place. So, this Monday, playoffs will begin. The 5th-seeded Tide will face the 4th-seeded Makos at 4 p.m., and the 6th-seeded Panthers will face the Bahamas at 7 p.m. We hope to see you at Northeast High School for the game. Now, sit back and relax. We're going to swing it over to the Zoom call for this week's interview. Thank you and enjoy. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 5 of This Week in the Charles Johnson Summer League podcast. I'm your host, Antonio Aponte. Playoffs are right around the corner, so I brought out 2 special guests today, Donovan Cox and Michael Bell, to talk to us about the upcoming playoffs and the season that's just passed. Thank you both, gentlemen, for joining today. We'll start right away with Donovan Cox, head coach of the Bahamas. Donovan, thank you so much for joining the episode today. We're super excited to hear what you have to say about your team. 3rd place, headed into playoffs. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good about this. My guys, they've done pretty well in the league.
Absolutely.
We've lost a few games, but they were because of mental mistakes. And I feel that because we have played a lot more together, we have more communication, we have more bond, So I feel like there wouldn't be as much errors or mentally mistakes that they have made.
We'll come right back to you, Donovan. You got Michael Bell here as well. Michael, big year for the Cobras, 2nd seed, big year for you, MVP candidate. Tell us a little bit about your season. Tell us about the team. How you feeling going into the playoffs this week?
Yeah, coming into the summer league, I wanted to do good. I wanted to prove myself this summer. And ending the way I did at my school, Montreal, North Carolina, I definitely told myself I needed to be better. And I've done that so far. And as of my team, we have a great group of guys. We have good bats and good defense. That we came off a tough week this past week, but it was like we lost because of mental errors, mental mistakes. But I feel like if we clean those things up, we'll be fine going into the playoffs.
Absolutely. And just a little bit about you personally. You had 62 at bats this year, and of those 62, 24 hits. You hit over 350. You actually hit 380 and had an OPS of over 1,000. How did you have such a big season this summer? What did you do to prepare for it? And how did you stay committed to the grind of summer baseball?
Honestly, it was just, for me, it was mental. I just told myself I had to lock in the whole summer, stay locked in, and I put in the work. So I was already prepared. I felt prepared coming into the summer league, and my approach was just simple. At the plate was see ball, hit ball the whole summer, and it worked out for me.
Awesome. That sounds great, man. We're going to swing it back to Donovan. Donovan, a little bit of interesting story, man. You're not from here. You're from the Bahamas. You brought a team over. Tell us a little bit more about the program you got over in the Bahamas and what it took to come over here and how you kind of got yourself involved with the Charles Johnson Summer League.
Yeah, back home, baseball is growing. It's really growing. I got here through Mario. Mario comes down in Freeport, Gramama. That's just the island I'm from. He comes down a lot and he does a lot of tournaments there. He brings teams over, a few guys over, look at the guys because we have a lot of talent. Our guys back home, they're really talented, but we don't play enough games. We don't get a lot of exposure. We don't get the scouts to come down. We don't have the big tournaments, so Mario helps in that kind of way. And he reached out and we brought a team over for the CJS.
And that team has caught fire as of late, and you guys have propelled yourselves all the way from basically the bottom of the rankings to the 3 seed, and now you guys are in a really great position, to make a run here in the playoffs and possibly win it all. I know you got a big game tomorrow that you have to win before we get to the championship. But what's the mentality headed into the postseason? What are you telling your guys? How are they preparing? And what's the game plan moving forward from here?
The game plan really is to make our plays and to know we're doing the ball before the ball hits us. We're a team, we could score runs. Offensively, we've been doing a great job offensively, but it's on the defensive side that we have fell down. And I believe it's just because like I said, the lack of exposure. The team grew. We had a lot of chemistry. We've grown chemistry-wise. We started to trust each other more. We know each other better. And I feel like that was the biggest part of it, that we can trust each other now. And now that the game plan basically is to do our job. Everybody hold their own up.
Absolutely. And if you could just tell us a little bit more about, the trip here and how it's been for the guys. I know a lot of them are staying in the hotel, of course. And I'm sure that's helped a lot with their chemistry. And what have you done? What have you done to kind of just bring this whole team together and make them play as a team? Because we've seen a different Bahamas team this past week than we have in previous weeks. They just look like they have a lot of chemistry. They love playing with each other. And how have you been able as a coach, to bring this all together and do that for the team?
It's really the bond, man. Like guys used to separate themselves before, like they never used to hang out, and now they all stay in one room for basically the whole night. So it's basically them getting to know each other. I feel like that was the biggest part of it because we have guys from different islands of the Bahamas. We got a few from Abaco, Nassau, Grand Bahama, and then we have one or two guys that live in the U.S. That are part of the team as well. So it just took for them to get to know each other, to learn to trust each other, build that bond.
So moving away kind of from the summer league and more towards, baseball as a whole in the Bahamas, can you just tell us a little bit more about your foundation and how you're able to, one, to bring guys here? What was the scouting like? What's the process in the Bahamas? Because obviously it's a little bit different than playing in South Florida where there's just guys in one centralized area. What kind of goes through? What's the process that you've had to go through, to get a team not only here but teams and guys together back at home?
Basically, the Bahamas isn't so big. From you play baseball, everybody knows everyone that plays baseball. We have our inter-island tournaments. It's called nationals. Like every June, each island brings their best players to this one big tournament. Either be held in Nassau, or it would be held in Freeport, Grand Bahama. But we also have an academy back home, I-Elite, International Elite program. That's where most of the guys go. Most of the not good, but really like top-notch baseball players. We have them there. They go to school from 7 in the morning till 1, and then they play baseball from 1 till about 7. That's the process they do every day. Because being home, like I said, we don't have the exposure. So we had to figure out a way to get the guys to play more, to get better, and learn the game of baseball. Through that program, we have about 25 kids, Bahamian kids, in the minors right now on the pro board. And of course, we all know we have Charles Chisholm that plays for the Miami Marlins, had the rep, and also Lucius Fox. He's in rehab right now, but he also was on the 40-man roster for the Washington Nationals.
Wow. And what was kind of like your experience, meeting some of these guys? How early on did you know that some of them were just going to be complete studs?
Honestly, from like 11, 12. Like, honestly, like the kind of talent we had at that level, because I grew up playing with most of them. Mm-hmm. So the kind of talent we had at that level, like at the Nationals, it was crazy, man. Like, I remember when Nationals, Jazz had about 8 or 9 home runs.
Wow.
And these guys were fast. Like, like I said, my center fielder in the tournament in the league we have now, Glenn Ingram. He's a really good kid, defensive stud. He's fast, he can hit, and like you said, he runs a 6'2".
Wow.
He's really good. He's a really good kid. But like I said, he's only 16 years old, so he still has about 2 to 3 more years of high school where he could really become a really good baseball player. But we just physically we have it, man. It's just the mental part of it that we have to learn, because it comes with playing baseball. That exposure is the biggest part of baseball.
And something about Glenn and some of the rest of your guys is that they were all featured at our futures game,
Right?
and they were able to get exposure through that. So I just want to kind of build off of that and the exposure part and coming to the States and stuff. How has the Charles Johnson Summer League helped some of these guys from the Bahamas kind of grow their personal brand and their own name? Has it helped a lot of the guys?
Yeah, it has. As I've been getting calls from college coaches about a few players asking me, trying to get some info on them. I honestly, the biggest part about playing in this league is I feel like the guys got better mentally. Like I've seen them learn to adjust in certain at bats or certain defensive ways. Like they've learned, playing against others, helping them to learn how to basically better their game. So again, I'd say the games as well. It's the best thing to happen for these guys.
And we've seen it, throughout the season as well. I mean, the team has just literally just ignited themselves and have propelled themselves into a spot where they can really make a run. And headed into the playoffs week, for you, it's obviously a big week as well. Every coach wants to win. What are you doing different? What do you think has to be the change made to really win it all?
Honestly, the way we're playing right now, I don't think there's much of a change. It's just that I have to stay on the guys. Sometimes they can get relaxed, and I have to stay on them and let them know what their job is, what they got to do, and not just basically not to relax, not to ease up, because we're here to win. We're trying to win it all, so we can't ease up at no point.
I'm going to swing the same question over to Mike. Mikey, I see you sitting there eager to talk. You're in a Cobras team. You've been in the second seed almost since day one, coming off a little bit of a cold streak this week, but still nonetheless one of the top teams in the league. As a player, it's a little bit of a different perspective than Coach Donovan. What do you feel you have to do as one of the leaders of your team to help your team win a championship this summer?
We just gotta make sure we come together as a team, as a whole. We gotta, like this past week, I felt we were a little off, separate, like communication-wise, chemistry-wise, we weren't there. And I feel like this week coming in, we have to come together as a team and play good defense overall and just be one and have lots of energy. And I feel like by doing that, that's what's brought us success earlier in the year. So I think that's what's going to bring us success now in the playoffs.
Absolutely. And swinging back to Donovan. So tomorrow night, you got a big matchup against the Panthers. Can you give us a little bit of the game plan for tomorrow night? Do you have a projected starter yet? Any information you can give us just yet?
I don't have a starters yet. I'm still deciding. I'm still deciding between three guys. But the game plan basically is attack. That's what we've been doing for the past couple of weeks. Just attack the baseball. Sorry about that. But yeah, like I said, these guys, the past, I say about 2 weeks, we've been on a winning streak. So I just want to keep the same concept going and take it into the playoffs.
Now, in the occasion that you do win tomorrow, it would actually set up a matchup between both of you gentlemen, the Cobras and the Bahamas. And I know I'm looking a little bit far ahead and getting ahead of myself, but that would be a very exciting rematch. You guys just won a game against the Cobras last week. Michael, what do you guys have to do different to beat the Bahamas? And Donno, what do you have to do to keep that same success?
Just a fun fact, we're ahead 3-1 in the series against the Cobras, which was a pretty good team. And from the way my guys played against them, I knew that this was a special team, the Bahamas team, that is. But the Cobras, we just, like I said, we just have to stay on them. Just basically make our plays, take advantage of scoring opportunities. You always got to get that big hit. Someone's got to come up big.
Yeah, you are ahead in the regular season record against the Cobras. Can you remind me who pitched the one game you guys lost?
It was a walk-off home run I think you guys had against us.
But you remember the starting pitcher that game by any chance, Coach?
Carvin Dames.
No, I was the starting pitcher against you guys.
Oh, you mean for the Cobras? I thought you was meaning for the.
I'm just messing with you.
Team.
I'm messing with you.
Yeah, I remember.
Mike, in the occasion that you get the Bahamas Cobras rematch in the playoffs, what's going to be your game plan headed into that game? How are you going to attack the Bahamas pitching and help your team win?
The Bahamas have a great team, so I feel like if we limit the mental mistakes and we minimize errors, we should be fine. We should have a good chance to win.
Absolutely. So a little bit more about you, Mikey. You're from Miami, and you went to Montreat College. Can you just tell us a little bit about your experience there?
Say that again.
We just want to know a little bit about you personally. I know you're from down here from Miami, but you go up to school at Montreat College. You actually go to school with one of your buddies on your summer team, Tarek Lashman. Is that correct?
Yes. That's nice.
How's that kind of been? To be able to go play college ball together, and then you get to play with your buddy down south.
It's been fun. It's been a good experience with him, and whenever me and him are together, we always do good, and we have good chemistry. I feel like that's what's brought us together and brought us a good relationship.
And you guys have done good this summer. You guys were both All-Star selections, and you both were out for All-Star weekend. What was that experience like for you? Was that your first All-Star appearance?
It was a good experience. I'll do it again. That was one of my goals, to make the All-Star team this summer coming into it, and meeting the guys from different places and knowing and understanding how they approach the game each and every day is definitely something I took advantage of, and I asked everybody, how do they handle every certain situations, and I learned a lot from them. It was definitely a good experience.
What was it like seeing your buddy try to win a home run derby championship?
I was rooting for him the whole way. I thought he had it.
He came up a little bit short, but Tarek made the Cobras proud, I'm sure. He did a great job.
Hey, I'm doing a VLBL job with Bahamian. That's pitching at Montreat College, the college that he goes to.
Really?
So yeah, he's up there at Montreat College as well.
So a lot of Bahamas players are, definitely starting to spread out in the States and make their name for themselves. And how has that been, for you, kind of, taking a step back and being able to see a lot of these guys that you grew up with and coached? I'm sure it must just be a really, really great feeling to see, Jazz in the majors. And what's it like for you just to kind of be able to take a step back and just see a lot of success with the program and the academy that you've built?
I'm proud, man, because it's because baseball is growing back home, and these guys, they go off the island, they do their job, they make a name for themselves, they make coaches and pro scouts, and everyone asks what's going on in Bahamas. Like, we have to come down there and see the rest of the guys. They're basically making a pathway for the younger kids coming up. So I'm kind of proud for that.
Now,
making it easier.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I do have a question. Here in the United States, baseball is usually more of like a, school related thing. You go to your typical high school and you play for your high school team. But something that is starting to pop up a little bit more is baseball academies. If you had a message to give to any of the guys, in the States, some of the younger guys who are thinking about doing the academy route instead of high school, what would you tell them? What's your experience like at, in the academy? And, is it something you'd recommend?
I mean, basically, everyone can go pro. We know that. Everyone cannot be a professor. Everyone can get education, right? So basically, it all depends on the kind of person you are. I feel like if you're stronger on the educational side, you would have to take the school route, go to regular high school. But, there's something out there for everyone. Not everybody is meant to be a doctor. Not everybody is meant to be a teacher. Some guys are meant to be plumbers and construction workers. And you basically have to find what's the fit for you. But for sure, I want to say for sure, if you do decide to take the academy program, you have to work. It's a grind every day, and you have to love the game. You can't just want to do it today and don't want to do it tomorrow. You have to want to do it every day for about 6 to 7 hours. Every day it's a grind. You don't go there and you practice for an hour and practice for 2 hours like you do in high school. It's not like that. You work hard every day. It's a grind every day. You sometimes even get tired of it, but that's the point. That's the times where you have to even work harder. That's where you get better.
Absolutely. And I'm sure that's exactly how it is over in the Bahamas at your academy, right?
Right.
Absolutely. Well, boys, it's been a pleasure. Before we go, I have a couple more questions. Who's going to win the championship of the Charles Johnson Summer League? No answers?
I get money on the Bahamas for sure.
Yeah, I don't win a microburst.
So we have two different picks. We'll see who's right. How has it been so far this summer? Have you guys had a good time so far?
Yeah, it's been a good experience.
It's been a really good experience. Love the exposure the guys are getting.
Yeah.
And are we going to see you guys back next year?
Sure, for sure.
That's what we love to hear. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the episode number 5 of the Charles Johnson Summer League podcast. Again, I'm your host. We appreciate Michael Bell and Donovan Cox coming on to the podcast today to talk to us a little bit more about their teams going into the playoffs and their experience this season. Gentlemen, thank you so much again. It's been a pleasure. We can't wait to see you guys this week for the playoffs. We hope to see you guys all this week at Northeast High School on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday for our playoff, semifinal, and championship game. Games begin at 4 o'clock, championship game at 7 o'clock. Again, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday at Northeast High School. Gentlemen, thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Thank you to all the viewers for tuning in, and we hope to see you next week for our final recording of the Charles Johnson Summer League podcast. Have a good one, everyone. We hope you enjoyed. Before we go, we have a couple of proud messages from our sponsors. First off, thank you to Axe Throwing Society for sponsoring today's podcast. Axe Throwing is one of the hottest attractions right now in the world, so make sure to check out Axe Throwing Society to get in on the fun. Also, we would like to thank Twin Peaks for sponsoring today's video. Make sure to check out Twin Peaks to get the best food, beer, and live sports. We appreciate all of our sponsors, and we hope to see you in the next video.